Hey everyone, Revan here, and welcome back to Feed the Beast University, where today we're hopefully going to be finishing up with blood magic and then finally getting into a little bit of the extreme crafting. So sit back, enjoy the video, and let's see what we can't get done. Hey everybody. All right, we are back here. So just quick rehash between what has happened in between episodes. I have done a lot of the quests for the pack or for the mod for blood magic to the point where we're pretty much at the level 5 stuff. So we're going to be getting into that today, as well as the Well of Suffering, and hopefully that won't take us too long. This one, we're pretty much done. I just wanted to show you the crafting of one thing just so that I could introduce that object. Also, I played around with the incense altar. So this is not the final form of the incense altar. It actually has one tier higher that it can go. But because I don't really need it, I just, I played around with it a little bit and made it this far. Also, last episode, I mentioned that the augmented capacity runes can actually hook up to blood tanks. That's wrong. I was 100% completely wrong with that. I was just going off of what it sounded like, figuring, hey, there's blood tanks in the pack, and there's these things called augmented capacities. They have to somehow, in some way, shape, or form, link to each other, and they don't at all. So what an augmented capacity rune is first, let me explain what a capacity rune is, right? So capacity rune increases the amount of LP that can be held by 10%. So this altar, let's just say it can hold 100 LP. If I add one capacity rune on, the altar would then be able to hold 110 LP. If I add another capacity rune onto that, it doesn't mean it goes up to 120. What it means is it'll take that 110, which is it's being based off of the first one, and add another 10% to that. So you'd have 121%. Plus, adding this one on, it would go up even higher. So this capacity rune, this one, and this one are essentially adding on an additional 30% to the base 100. Well, in this case, 10,000, but we'll just use 100 because it's the easier number for me to explain. The difference between the capacity and the augmented capacity is the augmented capacity runes multiply themselves exponentially. So this capacity, augmented capacity rune, by itself is only doing 10% addition, same thing as a regular capacity rune. The difference becomes when you start adding more of the augmented capacity runes. So this adds 10%. However, this one adds an additional 10% too, but because there's an additional augmented capacity rune, it gets like an additional 1%. And then this one would get an additional 2% because there's two other ones. So these three augmented capacity runes would add somewhere around 33% to the total, as opposed to the 30% of the regular capacity runes. So the more of these that we have, the more essentially free percentage that we're getting. So eventually we will be switching all of these capacity runes over to augmented capacities. For one, it's not that we need that much LP capacity because we're pretty much done with the mod. However, what it does is it frees up room for like other runes, like runes of sacrifice, runes of self-sacrifice, speed runes, those type of things. So if we replace all of these guys with capacity, then hey, we could free up all of these corners over here and put those to be speed runes as well, so that we don't have to wait as long for the charging of everything. Also, I made this little guy over here, which is just for refilling my will. I just step in here and it rains down will on me. I made this because it got old. Taking stuff out of this anti-barrel, tossing it out, and then just having it get sucked up, because like this guy, I've already gotten almost 7,000 will in it. And we have almost 3,500 will just sitting in here. And most of it is in 1 unit increments. So it takes a long time to fill up these higher level gems. And so that's why I just made that little safe house over there, so that I could just sit in there and not have to worry about mobs or anything like that spawning. Additionally, I made this aversion obelisk. which essentially just stops mob spawning of a specific type. And that's based upon whatever soul vials you put into it. It can hold up to 12. So I currently have it set to pretty much get rid of most of the main types of mobs that we're going to get. So in this area, Enderman, spiders, creepers, zombies, zombie villagers, skeletons, baby versions, witches, and the Piper. The only reason I did that is once I said, hey, nothing can spawn in here as far as vanilla mobs, it started spawning in a lot of the Pipers and rats. So that's why I tossed that in there as well. But yeah, the first part today is pretty much just getting through the rest of this mod. So we have the tier 5 stuff, which shouldn't take us very long. And then just putting the Well of Suffering down here, which is pretty much should be just as easy as setting up an environmental tech machine. But after that, we'll get into some extreme crafting, at least the very beginnings of it, so that we can get something set up for when we actually do get to it. However, because I'm getting a lot of leg spikes right now, I'm actually going to restart the pack first. So I will be back in a moment as soon as I get that done. And hopefully that fixes some stuff. Right. So where was I? Man, it takes so long to load these mod packs these days. All right. So before I actually hit record, I did make 16 of these runes of sacrifice. So let's get on with getting to the rest of the stuff that we need for this ritual here. I had to make these inscription tools. These are what you need in order to make the ritual stones, because you need certain ritual stones in order to, get the ritual going. Not really sure how else to put that. But we had to make these, and they're not difficult to make. It's just, this one is magma cream, obsidian, gas tier, and this is not 8 coal. It was 1 block of coal. So not really sure what was up with that, but we need to make a ritual diviner, and I believe we just got to toss these guys in. I don't know if they have to be in a specific order here. So we have fire, earth, water, air. All right. Yeah, they do need to be in exact order, and applied energistics doesn't actually like to register them. All right, so we have the ritual diviner, and I'm going to go ahead and make the dusk diviner. The difference being that the dusk diviner can actually replace dust ritual stones. I don't know if we need it, but one of the videos that I watched had the person actually had it used. So I'm gonna assume that we need the dusk one. Actually, we can try it without it, just to check here. We have our master ritual stone. Now this particular one, it's kind of wide. Wow, a little bit of a voice crack there. It's a little bit wide. However, it only goes up 1. So if we put it right here, it would go down to this and up to this one. So we could probably get away with placing it right here, like that. And actually, the first thing we should probably do is make our 4 beacons real quick. That way we actually unlock everything that's in level 5. I don't want to be skipping out on anything here. All right, blood magic. All right, we have the ritual stones. We get even more of those. So the ritual diviner dust has access to greater rituals. Additionally, it's a tool. Okay, that's probably why that person had it. So let's make up the dusk one real quick. And these are just dusk inscription tools, and they're relatively easy to make. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't anything. Oh yeah, it was the block of coal. Duh. Already talked about that. All right, so with the diviner, if we shift right click, we can kind of go through the different rituals that we want. So we're looking for Well of Suffering. And there we go. And then I think, yeah. So now if we look at the master ritual stone here, and it'll actually show us the layout. And I believe if we just right click on it, I don't think you can hold it. Actually, you can hold it. But yeah, we just hold this down and it will take the ritual stones that we had in our inventory. And it's like lucky that we actually got more because yeah, we didn't have enough. And it will fully set this guy up here. Now, I believe we still need to activate that. which is what this awakened activation crystal is for. So this guy is just going to be a nether star, and wow, that's easy. Was not expecting it to be that easy. I thought we'd actually have to put it into the system itself here. But let's take this. We'll make you. And that is complete. And that one we can do later. So now we just need to see if this actually activates our ritual here. All right. So yeah, if we just, looks like if we just right click on it, it'll actually activate the ritual. And if we look down here at our mobs, you can see they're each taking 1 heart damage. And because they're witches, they're going to be drinking health potions to keep them alive. So if we come up here and flip this guy on, we can actually spawn in a bunch more witches and get, 20 or so of them in there, or as many as that spawner will allow them to spawn. Yeah, too many mobs. So that's the most amount that we'll be able to get, but we can get more in there through other means. One of the things that this pack has is teleposers, which are supposed to teleport blocks or entities on top of them to another location. So we could probably put like a teleposer down there and then move our witch farm over here somewhere a little bit further out of range, and then spawn them in and then telepose them over into this location. But I'll probably try to set that up at another point in time. But each one of these guys, I think, is going to give us, I think it's 5 life essence each time that this goes off. So obviously we can't really see much here, but let's just see. So about once a second, it's going up by about 400 LP, which is much better than us sitting here and having to babysit it. And we can increase that, like I said, by putting more witches in there and or increasing our runes of sacrifice. Like we could probably get rid of a bunch of these runes of self-sacrifice, and yeah, like these 4 runes of self-sacrifice, and actually get that down to a higher number. So I'm going to work on a little bit of an augmentation here to try to get rid of some of these, or try to get rid of some of these self-sacrifice runes and toss in some more sacrifice ones. Yeah, so we added 8 more runes of sacrifice on there, and it's going up much higher. The unfortunate thing is every time you break this, you'll lose all the blood that's stored in there. So we have this guy up and running. Like I said, we can augment it if we need to, but since we're pretty close to being done with this mod as it is, I'm not sure if there's going to be much use for it. So I'm going to kind of go through some of this stuff here to try to figure out, what we can actually get done. So this living armor is going to need a separate ritual. So essentially what we need to do is we need to make a ritual which will strip the enchants, if you will, off of our living armor. So I currently have health level 5 on this living armor right now, and apparently Dwarven Might, Quick Feet, and Tough Palms level 4. So, but I've used all of my upgrade points. So what we can do is we can make a ritual to get these guys to drop so that we can kind of keep our living armor where we want it to be. As you notice, I have a bunch of hearts right now. It's almost full with green. If I take this off, it goes back down to just only being almost full with yellow. So I was using this with the dagger, sacrificial dagger here, just to essentially level it up and make it easier for me to fill this guy up over there. But let's see if we can make anything here. So this guy we can make, we're going to need, or we might be able to make. I don't know if we have any puffer fish, but let's actually see just exactly how far we can get. All right, let's try this out here. I put a alchemistry catalyst underneath this mana pool. So if I toss this fish in, it should give me a clownfish, or I mean, it should give me a salmon. If I toss it again, it should give me a clown. And if I toss it again, it should give me my puffer fish. The puffer fish I need for the neurotoxin for this crafting recipe here. So hopefully this will allow us to complete this recipe. All right, so we have the neurotoxin, and then we just need to do this draft of Angelus. So we need the neurotoxin, antiseptic, gold gas tier, and fermented spider eye. Or we need a completely different type of gold. We need pulverized gold. There we go. And now it's finally starting to work. We just didn't have enough LP stored up. This should finish up, and we now have our Daft Angelus, whatever we want to call it here. And this is going to give me an extra, or the Ritual of the Living Evolution costs 50,000 LP to increase your living armor maximum upgrade points to 300. So I don't know if I need to take this first, because this says it increases it up to 200. So what happens? So that hurt. But my health level is going up, which I guess is good. And let's see here. I have 181 out of 200 points used. So I can increase my health, or I can increase like tough palms and stuff like that. So I say we just kind of sit here and do this for a while until it maxes out our health points. It shouldn't take too long. It'll increase our tough palms at the same rate as well. All right, well, we'll just kind of let that do its thing. Eventually it'll level it up. So yeah, let's see. Ritual of the Living Evolution. Ritual of the Living Evolution costs 50,000 LP to increase your living armor's maximum points to 300. All right, yeah, we don't necessarily need to do that. Can we make one of these guys? Possibly not, because it looks like we need Destructive Will, and we need to do another ritual for that. So I'll probably have to set that up at another point in time. What about this guy? This guy we can actually make here. So you, and what are you missing? An orb. I'm always afraid that one of these days it's actually going to take the orb. Not that it's, difficult to make. It's just, I get weirded out about stuff and things and stuff here. All right. So will types, like I said, we need to do another type of a ritual and set it up, and there'll be pillars, and then you need to pump aura in. So we'll probably just set that up off camera and kind of let it do its thing, and then come back and show you the end result. But for now, I think we're going to call that good for blood magic, solely because of the fact that most of the things I'm going to do is either going to be like a repeat of this guy or something to that effect, where it's going to be like, hey, look at this block, magically spawn other blocks. So I think we're going to call that good. The next thing that I want to get into is actually extended crafting here. So the reason I want to get into this now is we're not there yet in the game, but we need a black iron ingot. Okay. We're not quite there yet in the game. However, like saving up for neutrons and stuff like that from these guys, we're going to need a bunch of these to make all of this armor. And these guys aren't known for being very fast. So it helps to have like an array of them set up. And just kind of going at things as you're waiting here. So I want to add this onto our list, but in order for that, we need to make an ultimate crafting table, which means we're going to need to go through all of these tiers here. And I think the best way for us to go through all of these tiers here is actually just to make patterns for it and be all cheatsy doodle about it. All right, so hopefully we have enough patterns here to get this done. I don't know if we have a crafting table, so we'll just kind of go through everything as we need it here. Blank iron slate, so we need to find the black powder. And then we should be able to make this guy. And yeah, I'm just going to go through all of this and get all this set up into the inventory. All right, and that should be all of the patterns that we need. So in total, we need, looks like 13 patterns in order to actually get this one crafting table. So let's just toss all of these guys in here and then see if we can't order one up. Ultimate crafting table, give me one of you. Am I going to be missing anything? Nope. All right, let's start that guy. And then what does this want me to do? Just any crafting table. All right. And then combination crafting table, make a combination crafting setup. The crafting core works with any pedestal in a 7x7 area using items on them in recipes. Right clicking the top of the core and place an item in it, right? Okay. I thought this was like automated crafting, but it kind of seems like it's just more, yeah, like a pedestal based crafting from like most magic mods. All right, the automation core, that's what I was looking for. So this is what we place on top of the extreme crafting tables to actually like give them an automated recipe. So like I said, we want multiple one of these neuron collectors here, or neutron collectors here. And I don't feel like putting this recipe in every time. So if I can automate that to, you know, make us like 32 of these guys, it'd make my life a lot easier. So let's see if this is something that we can possibly get into. So we have the, we don't have this. So we're going to have, I don't know if we can have more than one of these guys set up. So like I've gotten into extreme crafting in the past, but nothing like too obscene. So I think we just get one, we figure out one, we work our way up to being able to craft that. And then we'll see where that leads. But we have our crafting table here. And I guess for now we can just kind of place it there. And what's the next thing that it wants us to how do we actually get over to this point in time? So we're going to need a bunch of iron blocks, some crystal matrices, and redstone. So iron is easy day. We can just take a stack of these. Redstone, same thing. Just take a stack of those. The only thing that's going to be a little bit more is these guys, these crystal matrix ingots, which is just going to be some diamond lattice. So let's just grab, how much was it? So we're gonna need 4 stacks and 2 stacks another star. Okay, good thing we have a good amount of a good amount of each. There we go. That should give us a stack of these crystal matrix ingots. And then if we come over here, can we shift click this recipe in? We can. So we can make 2 neutron collectors. So let's just grab a bunch more iron and redstone. And then how many is this going to get us? This is only going to get us 5. Oh, we're missing the crystal matrix. All right, so we'll start. I guess we can start with 7. I can actually set this crystal matrix up on an autocraft and make a bunch of them. So these guys for now, because we want to ensure that they're chunk loaded and I'll be doing most of my AFK in this area. Let's just put them right in here. And then we'll just, I think we can draw from the back. There we go. We got those guys all set up. So they are all extracting on green and they're all being led over to that chest over there. The only issue that we're going to have is this guy right here. So we'll just do the same thing we did with the cables or the energy cables. We'll just lead it under. That should do it. So once we start getting these piles of neutron, which take forever, which is why I wanted a bunch of these, I'll probably make another at least 14 of them and stack them here because they go very slowly and we need a lot of them. A lot of the piles of neutron to actually, achieve what we're looking for. But that's also why I wanted to get started a little bit slower because, to make this, look how many neutron ingots we need. And each one of these neutron ingots has 9 nuggets and each nugget has 9 piles of neutron. So it's going to take a very, very, very long time for us to accumulate everything that we need. Oh, I also made this dragon egg mill. Just got the pristine ender dragon matter here. I don't know if these guys ever got up to self-aware. Okay, the dragon did, but the gas is still at superior. But we're good on gas tiers for now. So I want to try to get into these crystalline ingots here. So I'm gonna need a bunch of lapis, iron, nether star nuggets. Okay, so So that we should be able to do. All right, let's see how many of these that we can actually get out of this, if it's going to be enough to actually make one of these automated crafters. All right, here we go. So that gives me 32 of these crystalline ingots. Now, is that enough to make these guys? Ah, can't find it. So I need, yeah, this is gonna be tight here. Yeah, this stuff is so much easier to once you actually get it crafted up or put recipes in. It's almost, oh, we're missing 4. Yeah, it's a lot. It behooves you to set up patterns for these guys, because there's so many little back and forth recipes that, like, if you try to do it, you know, just with what you have, it's gonna end up hurting, if that makes any sense. So we'll just make up another 32 of these guys the old-fashioned way, and then toss that in, and then say crafting. Where are you? Automation interface. Start. And we have our automation interface. Now, it still might be, I don't know if this is going to take recipes from lower crafting tables, or if I'm going to have to make one for each type of crafting table. I'm going to have to do some experimenting with that, but this thing takes a metric butt ton of power as well. And I think in order for us to set this up, we actually need to set a recipe into it. So, like, we would have to save a recipe in here. Let me see if we can get this to work. But I think what we have to do is we need to input, oh, that's the wrong side. We need to input whatever we want for a recipe like this. There we go. And then come over here and say save recipe. And this one interface is only going to make these units right here. So for every recipe that we want automatically saved, I believe we're going to need one of these automation interfaces. That's also kind of one of the reasons why I haven't been expanding upon this wall right here. I kind of feel like I want to have a bunch of these crafting tables with a bunch of these guys all set up so we can automate all of that recipe. So probably going to have to tear like all of this stuff down over here and get that set up. Especially because of the fact that, like, a lot of these recipes, we're not really going to need it. I don't even know what a captured growth roll is, but there's certain infinite crafting, like, still, oh, okay, so these are all the combination ones, so that we can get, ooh, creative storage up. Oh, but that's not a creating vending upgrade. I got excited there for a minute. So we're going to have to definitely, like, build some place and make it solely set up for, like, this combination crafting, because a lot of these guys that we have down here are all going to be like that. I really wish we had, oh, we do have item duplication here. How do we make this? Holy bejeebus. Yeah, so this is like a recipe we'd want to get set up, because really, once we have 2 of these creating vending upgrades, we don't need anything else in the pack. So if we, like, rush to try to get this through, but I mean, this is all creative drums, creative everything. So just in order to get this guy, is going to be pretty much end game in itself. But one thing we can start working on is this guy right here, quantum compressor, because we're going to need a few of these as well. We're going to have to start setting stuff up to make singularities, because I have a feeling like we're going to need a lot of singularities in this pack, especially to get through the end game stuff. So there we go. We have a compressor, which we can, you know, for now at least, just place like right here. All right, sorry about that. We had a nice little crash there and a reset. I had to remake all of the extended crafting stuff, which is, you know, kind of to be expected when you start getting into, like, the end game stuff. Things are going to get kind of wonky on you, and you can't really help much. But one of the things that I need to start getting into is actually the singularities. And And the reason I say I need to start getting into them is that's primarily going to be what we're going to be working on. So if I kind of go through all of these mods one by one and then wait until I start doing all of this stuff, the time lapse between the episode right before we get into end game crafting and the actual episode is probably going to be about, like, 2 months, because it takes a long time to get all of that stuff ready to go. So it's kind of one of the main reasons I wanted to start on this. Like, I want these guys, these Neutron collectors, running for, a good week or so before I'm even up to the point where I can start utilizing everything. One thing I did want to look at is, for these guys, I need to start mapping out what's actually going to be needed, because, like, the creative drum, we need infinity blocks, which are going to be infinity catalysts, and they're going to need ultimate singularities. So these guys I really need to start working on now and getting as many of them as I can. Because like I said, the first thing I want to do is make these creative vending upgrades, right? Once I get those, I can start duplicating all of the singularities. I can start duplicating all of the really hard things to craft. So even though that's kind of on the bottom of the list, and we will complete a lot of these in the process, that is going to be my primary focus, right? Get this done, because that will make whatever's not on this list that's in here, if there is anything, way easier for us. Because like the neutronium blocks, like that's gonna take a very long time for us to accumulate all of those guys. These storage devices, those could probably be crafted now, but yeah, we're gonna have to. Awakened activation crystal, we could probably, we can actually already make that. So some of the stuff, we can already make, but I am gonna wrap this episode up, because I'm kind of running out of things that I can kind of putz around with here. I do want to pose the question to you guys: which tech mod do you guys want me to see to kind of run through next? I still need to do, obviously, all of them. I don't know if I'm gonna 100% this pack, mainly because of the fact that we're kind of at the point where we don't really need a lot of this. We might need some of it, and in order to get into the end game crafting, because it usually requires like some of the basic machines. But if there is a tech mod, in here that you actually want me to go through, just let me know down in the comments, and I'll schedule that for one of the upcoming episodes to kind of go through it. But otherwise, I'm probably going to do a lot of this stuff off camera, because there's really not a whole lot of point for us to utilize it. I'll just make what I need, and that will be about it. So it'll kind of be like wishy-washy episodes with parts of stuff here and parts of stuff there, and then just crafting all the extra pieces off camera. But yeah, if there's a mod that you want me to, if there is a mod you want to see me go through, just let me know down in the comments, if you will. But yeah, we are going to call it an episode there. We got almost all the way through Blood Magic. There's a few rituals and stuff I need to do, but like I said, I can kind of scatter those throughout. I think 3 episodes of Blood Magic is more than enough. So as always, if you like the video, please remember to hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps me out greatly. And until next time, be safe, stay awesome, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.